Why am I 5 minutes late? Well, one word, Vishnu. Okay, let me get organized. I've just spent the last 10 minutes running around. Vishnu got a hold of one of my earbuds and just was gone. And like, these are not cheap. And so, okay, let me see if everybody can see me and hear me. I don't even know if you guys can hear me. So, hey, Princess Alyssa, thank you for being here. Let's see. Okay. If you can hear me okay, if the volume's okay, hit a, you know the deal, thumbs up. If you can't hear me at all, thumbs down with a comment. So, can you guys hear me? Yay or nay? And is chat not working? Oh no, yeah, the chat just kind of, okay, hold on. Okay, let's see. All right, Linda gave me a thumbs up. Yeah, the chat keeps freezing. I've had an evening. Okay, Dashing D can, EP can hear me. Dashing D, Linda, hello. EP, Princess Alyssa, thank you for modding. Hey, Sarah Marie. Desiree, Minka, hello. Hey, Blondie. Oh, good. Amy can hear me. And just so everybody knows, hey, Barry, Bowberry, I'm ticking a lot tonight. So if you know, just, it is what it is, right? I don't have any control over it. I suppose I could go on TikTok and fake it for money, except for I wouldn't be faking it. All right. I am going to make some hot chocolate, though, while everybody gets in. I did not plan on going live tonight because of any particular thing today, though it does seem that some of the assholes be assholing, yeah? All right, let me get chocolate out real quick. Hey, Leanie, good to see you. I'm let everybody get in here. I have to get my notebook. Like I said, I was already go live like 10, 15 minutes ago, and I sat one of my earbuds down, and I saw Vishnu, and in my mind, I'm like, I should not set that down, right? Like, don't do it. She's done this before. I set it down, I turned around, turned back around, and it's gone. And I have Bose earbuds. They are not cheap, and it was gone, and I saw her little butt hightailing for the living room, and it's dark, so I'm flipping lights on, trying to catch her, and it's just, oh my God. These cats are going to be the death of me. Hey, Oranges, Poranges, good to see you. Yeah. Hey, Megan, I love your face. Yes, we needed to go live. I just wanted to catch up. Okay, I'm going to make some hot chocolate, and then I'll break out my notebook. We'll watch some videos. Apparently, Chantal decided to grab a cat off of the streets. And what I'm going to guess happened is she realized that Kuwait has very strict laws about stealing animals off the street. So she can make all the excuses she wants. She can blame it on the internet. But I think what happened is she was worried it was going to affect her. So this kitten, which she had just spent the entire day telling everybody how sick it was going to die, blah, blah, blah. It's a good thing she got it. All of a sudden, no, it's okay to go back on the street. Really? Sure, Jan. All right. Sorry, guys. Everybody go get themselves something to drink. Get yourself something to eat. I said hi to Megan and everything. So, oh, I hate it when you make hot chocolate and you add too much of the powder. So then you add more hot water. It's too watery. So you add some more powder, and it's just this terrible. Okay. I know. I am so unorganized. But okay, let me get my ducks in a row. I had my ducks in a row, and then Vishnu jacked it all up for me. I actually went in the bedroom, too, to grab my my notebook so we could start reviewing my notes and stuff. So, okay, let me pull my okay, earbuds are charging. So everybody get themselves a drink, a snack, get yourself settled in. I'm going to try not to go forever tonight, but it just seems like today was a day. And for, anybody new in girl world, I'm sure it's very confusing. Like, why is this woman being attacked by everybody and their brother? Well, here's what happens when you're a terrible human being. The truth doesn't change. So, okay. Yeah, it was a day. Okay, let me go get my notebook and stuff. And I suspect a lot of people are probably like foodles out, like they're just like over it. But yeah, I wanna catch up. And realistically, we can talk about how she had that video removed for community guideline strikes. Imagine that, getting a video pulled down for doing an entire video on a diagnosis that you don't even have. That is not, I don't care, I will die on this hill. We can go back over the timeline, but Chantal never got diagnosed with an ED. We can go over the entire timeline. I'm sure there's a few people that have been in girl world for a hot minute, and so it went from she wanted that diagnosis to they refused to give her a diagnosis to she fought because they wouldn't give it to her. Flash forward, she starts bringing it up because there's the objective, what the doctor observes, and then there's the subjective, what does the patient tell me when you go into an emergency room. Well, she started telling an emergency room doctor a couple years ago about how she had this and how she had that and how an ED was one of them, and then that kind of morphed to, I have this thing, it's not my fault. No. All right, I said hi to Blondie, so hey, here you are. Okay, let me go get my notebook. I am so tempted to they've made it so you can set a goal. I'm tempted to set a goal just to buy my cat some toys, but I'm not gonna. I mean, they really make it easy. Like when I'm looking at the chat, they make it so easy for me to, set chats. I can pick a goal, 10 super chats, 5 super chats. I can set it for what color. I mean, they really make it easy, just right there. So yeah, it's not, well, we know if it's hard, Chantal's not going to do it. So they've made it where I view it's actually easier to set up this goal than it is to actually set up the live streams. Setting up the live streams like this, they keep changing it. And they've made it where when you stream, it wants to do it vertical now. You have to go in and change it ahead of time. Otherwise, it's an entire problem. Did I add the? No, I should though, Blondie. Good idea. Okay, hey, no, just good to see you. Hold on, let me get my notebook, and then we'll go. Okay. All right. Well, to set a goal, you have to make $100, and I actually just got a payment for $100. I think the last one I got was about this time last year, so it might be a hot minute, but okay. Let's see, pick a goal. And like I said, we'll do 10 super chats. Should I just do all colors? No, I don't want to set, I don't know, it feels scummy. But I would use it, so, here's an idea. Do one in the chat if you think I should set a goal. Maybe I could donate the money to, no, I'm going to use it on my cats, because they get everything, every dime that I have left over. Put a 2 in the chat if it feels kind of scummy. It kind of feels like a 2 to me. Like, I would probably put a 2. I have people telling 1, but I don't know. All right. So, goal, oranges, no justice. Let's see. Wow, this is saying there's only 16 people. Hold on. Let me get this. It's looking, we need to get into this. I know. And I do have this set as a bad baking and questionable cooking. I need to feed sourdough. I need to cut up, so maybe I kind of want to do some bad baking while we do this. Let's see. Okay, I'll go 10 super chats. Boy, they sure make it easy. Should I just do any color? Because they can make it, we're light blue and higher. That's the $1.99 ones. So, all right. That, okay. 10 super chats. The light blue and higher. You know what? I'll just do all colors. And then set a timer. I don't, there. And then share how you'll celebrate. My overlords will get yet another toy. Okay. And like I said, I cannot guarantee because you have to make $100. And that's like, because YouTube takes 30 at the top. So, yeah, it could be another year, but okay. We're going to give this a shot. And I will say I'm not monetized. I do not put commercials. I don't have memberships. I have none of that stuff. So if you get commercials and stuff, I have nothing to do with that on any of my videos, okay? So, here we go. All right. Okay. No justice, thanks for, okay. Let me see if I can see. All right. I think I said hi to everybody. I'm just really, really, Desiree, of course. D is the man. Okay, I have some screenshots, because you know, I will say that overall with Chantal, overall, we're not really seeing a lot of new stuff. It's truly just regurgitated, irrelevant drivel from Chantal. Okay, does it sound like I'm yelling, or does this volume, like, how about if I talk like this? Put a 1 if you can hear me just fine like this. Put in if the volume sounds okay. If you have headphones on, like, put a 1 if this volume sounds okay and you're wearing headphones. People that don't have headphones, hold on, I'm going to ask you next, okay? Okay, we're looking at 1s. All right. For everybody that's not wearing headphones but just is using speakers, if this volume sounds okay, hit a 3. Okay? So if you, no headphones, but this volume sounds good, you've just got speakers, put a 3. If you've got headphones and this volume sounds okay, hit a 1. If you've got either one of those and this sound quality is crap, hit a 7. 2, but turned up loud. Oh. And I have to be very utilitarian about this. Like, what's going to do the good for the most amount of people is going to be the average, the mean that I need to go with. So it's skipping. But yeah, I'm wondering about that. Hold on. So what I've done is I'm using my old iPad soon. And so, because I'm using this and it's an old 6th generation, I've noticed when I use it for doing my lives, it just, for whatever reason, it chokes period every 10 seconds. So iPad, except for that leaves me not a lot for surfing the web and pulling up pictures. So what I need to do is I'm saving, because eventually what I want to do is get a brand new iPad. Now, if I get a brand new iPad, I can then take the newer iPad and I can use this for the photos and we can watch videos on it, and I can use the brand new iPad for live streaming, because I have seen it. I don't really watch my replays, but I'll go in to see how it sounds and looks, and I've noticed it'll go about 10 seconds and then it does this weird jerky leg thing, and I really think it's the old, nearly ready to be bricked 6th generation iPad that not only do they not make them anymore, you can't even get things, what's the word, work done repaired. Well, you can, but it's ridiculously expensive because whatever they did with these things is, I guess they soldered the charger directly to the case, and so it's incredibly difficult to fix them when they break. So they want like $150 to even crack it open, and realistically, that is more money than what you can buy a 6th generation iPad for at this point. So yeah, this is a very long way of saying basically I'm almost a Luddite. I use old equipment and I apologize. Oh, EP, thank you. Let's see. EP says for the overlords. Right on, EP. And Burnt Cheeseburger, I said thank you to you. Long time no see. And I don't know why. So Desiree gave me the first one, and it says, and then Burnt Cheeseburger gave me one, and then EP just gave me one. So that should be 3, but the goal is only showing 2. So I don't know because I said any. Anyway, I'm sorry. All right, I'm getting preoccupied. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being Chantal is hit a new low and she's just completely scummy and nobody can believe how terrible and hypocritical and hyperbolic and disingenuous she's being. And 10 being like, realistically, this is really SSDD. 10, if you put a 10 in the chat, it basically means that Chantal might have changed the flavor of terrible, but she's still about the same amount of terrible. I'm a solid 10 on this. She's, or like a 9.5. We're really not seeing anything new. Different flavors of terrible, but all still terrible. All right, so let's see, what was I looking for? And I will say, the one thing I don't want to do tonight, just no spam in the chat. It was, I can't remember whose live it was, but I was watching a live like last week, and there were 1 or 2 people that were just dominating the chat and spamming the chat. Please don't do that. Let everybody have a conversation, And I was just, it was like, yeah. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I watched a lot of people get upset and leave that chat. So let's just all be civil here. I think we all dislike Foodles. So yeah. And I don't know where I'm going with this. And like I said, I don't want to upset anybody, but my algorithm, it auto-played Are You Serious today? And I heard her dropping some 4-word words. Like she was upset. So no bueno. So, oh, hey, Granny. I said hi to Megan. Megan says 10. Justice, Granny Noodles, I said hello. I said hi to Linda. I think I said hi to everybody. All right. Okay, hold on. What was I going to get? We were going to, I can't remember what I was doing. Oh, that's right. Let me get out my, to feed it. Okay. I need to feed this, and okay. So what do we want to start with? Mr. Gradebo cranks on. What do we want to start with tonight? Do we want to start with the newest video? Because I've not seen it, but I heard she put out a second video about, the reason the cat had to go back. So do we want to watch that? And then we can have a conversation for there. Okay, I do want to start with this. So we know for a fact that Chantal had a video removed for community terms of service violation. So here's the dealio. Before Chantal really hit it big with that first mukbang where she got 500,000 views, she did not have the 2017 Kia. She was still in that car with the gray interior, and she was sitting there and she had her nails done and her hair and stuff like that. And I want to say she was eating KFC, and she was talking about her grandma, and she started talking about, and she gave this story time where she was talking about how she'd been referred to an ED clinic, you know, and stuff like that, because she thought she had an ED. And he talks about how she went to this place and they would not give her an ED diagnosis. What they told her was that she was basically a food addict, and what she needed to do was stop eating junk food, stop eating in her car, and she needed to get therapy. Those were the three things. And she kept insisting she had an ED, and they said, no, you don't, because of the criteria. Like when it comes to BEDs, one of the criteria is like where, you know, you restrict or you eat a normal amount, and then you go to the edge and eat like way more than you normally do. Well, to do that would mean that you don't basically make a glutton of yourself every single meal. And there's videos which are now gone from her channel. Does anybody remember the one? It was like 1 in the morning. It was like early 2017. It might even been late 2016, where she was filming the road. It was snowing. It was in February. And she was talking about how she was on her way at 1 o'clock in the morning to go buy herself fast food, McDonald's. And she was talking about how excited she was to be going to get this fast food, how she had an entire ritual about it. Side note, and the way she talks about this driving to get the fast food really reminded me of hardcore drug addicts that I know. I mean, I knew some junkies, and they had an entire ritual and set up, you know, when they were getting ready, you know, and get the rig out, and just they had this entire elaborate ritual, and they almost enjoyed the ritual as much as they enjoyed the substances they were about to, you know, partake in. So, but she was driving, it was snowing, she was all excited, she had her favorite music on, you know, playing on her CD player or whatever it was, and she talked about how she really enjoyed this, and it was one of her favorite times, and how she had this whole ritual before she'd take off, and she was in a general state of, she was very excited and happy, and just, it was a very pleasant experience for her, much like a drug addict. There was no shame, there was no guilt, and so that disappeared years ago. But I want to say that video came out before she was sitting in that red car, eating the KFC, huge amounts of it, talking about how this is back when she wasn't even telling herself. She was just, you know, more honest, because she hadn't gotten to that point where she needed to lie and justify her bad behavior. People didn't quite understand at the point. She was still seen as a obese that didn't have a handle on eating. So, but she was talking about how they would not give her the diagnosis she wants, so she fired them. She stopped going there. And that's what happened with the eating disorder clinic. And so if anybody remembers this, hey, Jocelyn's mom, good to see you. If anybody remembers this, if anybody remembers that video, the red car, pretty sure it was KFC. I want to say she had like this peachy brown top on. Her nails were done. I think they might have been just, you know, and this was a very long time ago. It was before she really started getting big. If you honestly can remember that video, put a 1 in the chat. I'm just curious if anybody else here who's been here and watched every video the way I have, put a 1 in the chat. If you can remember the one which was even earlier than that one, God, it might even, like I said, been late 2016, early 2017. If you can remember the one where she's driving, it's 1 or 2 in the morning, she was excited, she was getting McDonald's, she talked about how she had this whole ritual. Put a 3 in the chat if you remember that video. All right, I'm just curious. So Blondie remembers the drive, the in the car, red car, talking about the you know, why she fired the ED clinic, right? So, okay, so there are a few other people. Is there anybody here that remembers? Put a 3 if you remember that driving where she was all giddy with anticipation and stuff like that. And I'm a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I just play one in the evenings on the internet. But the way she was giddy and go get that fast food, put a 3 if you remember that. But that is not, everybody knows BED. There's shame, you hide it, there's no happiness. It's a truly terrible feeling. These people are not happy, they're not proud. And so, sorry this keeps going off. You guys are all used to it. So, just the entire thing. And so, Chantal is a food addict. I'll give her, and she behaves much like an addict. And you know, but they told her to stop eating the fast food. They told her to stop eating her car. They told her to get therapy. And so, and Chantal will throw at everybody, well, you know, unlike a drug addict, you know, IED, it's not my fault, my mentals. And she'll say, you know, it's unlike a drug addict, you know, don't need drugs to survive, but I have to eat to live. To which I would counter, because an addict is an addict is an addict, and believe it or not, alcohol's a drug, right? Drug addict that likes alcohol, they need to drink to survive. They have to drink to survive, but they do not need to drink alcohol. You can drink water, you can drink apple juice, there's all kinds of stuff you drink. So much the same as an addict, a food addict, yes, you have to eat to survive, but you do not need to eat junk food, and you do not need to eat in your car. Those are personal choices, and those choices stem from she is unwilling to make herself uncomfortable. She is unwilling to deny herself anything. She wants what she wants, and she wants it right now. And let's face it, anybody that knows an addict, that getting their drug of choice is their favorite way to change how they feel, right? Chantal gets a high from eating in her car. She gets a high from the junk food. So she's not willing to change any of that stuff because change is really uncomfortable. You know, she's comfortable where she's at. So it's all excuses. And now she's leaning into my mentals. It's a diagnosis. It's not my fault. It's much the same as I know addicts who, you know, like addicts that have serious medical issues to the point where they need pain medication. And that's a very slippery slope, right? But these people still manage to do it. So I'm sorry, I'm not looking at chat, but that's just kind of where I am. Let's see. I still question her having BED. Garden Lady, this is a hill I will die on. She does not have BED. She originally said at the ED clinic, they said, no, you're a food addict. They would not give her an ED diagnosis. Food addict, you need to stop eating in your car. You need to stop the fast food, and you need to get therapy. Because like any good addict, you know, if you're taking your own advice, you're taking advice from the last person you used with, right? Bad idea. You know, she could do it by herself. She would have already done it. And this is not to pick a fight with anybody. This is to argue, but I'm curious. Put a 2 in the chat if you are like die on this hill like me, that she does not have an actual diagnosed ED. This is all self-diagnosed. Put a 1 in the chat if you think she actually does have an actual medical diagnosis from a doctor that's qualified to give her that diagnosis, not some urgent care doctor she lied to in Kuwait or in Thailand and they jotted down this diagnosis, but an actual medical professional who actually gave her that diagnosis with the CFD code or whatever attached. So, and if you think that she does have one, I'm not going to argue, I'm not going to fight, I'm not here to degrade you. I truly want to know if you think that she is, in fact, have the ED. I am a solid 2. I don't think she has it. I know one person with an ED that leans towards the more of the binge, and just, you know, it's like anybody says, if you know an addict, you know how addicts act. And that's how she acts. All the excuses. Sorry, this is kind of bad baking, questionable cooking, so I need to feed the sourdough. So hold on. know if you guys can hear me. But yeah, so she has wiped the board of the, you know, where she's sitting in the car with the KFC talking about her grandma, and she does not have an ED. She fired those doctors. So it's a self-diagnosis. Let's see. You know what? I am gonna go get my sorry, I'm not having a day. My my apron that Jocelyn's mom, WSU, sent me. Hearts in the chat for Jocelyn's mom, WSU. They sent me my alma mater. I was in graduate school, WSU, with Gradebo on it. I love this thing. It's great. Yeah, so I'll wear this because this is a bad baking. Not baking, but, you know, it's the precursor. So, and as usual, I'm all over the place. But yeah, she's a food addict. I'll give that. And she's really addicted to those highly processed, highly palatable foods. You know, it's very unhealthy, but she's not willing to not, even though she could eat in her apartment. You know, she likes to go out and sit in the car and eat. She likes the junk food and the self-cope, you know, with the, oh, it's fresher. Just because it's not a worldwide chain restaurant doesn't mean it's any healthier. When you're eating out at these inexpensive Middle Eastern restaurants, the amount of palm oil and salt and fat and rice, you know, and this is just for somebody that's a food addict. This doesn't even get into the fact that she is a uncontrolled, you know, out of control type 2 diabetic. And my God, I can only imagine what her blood sugar is running. Like, she joked like, oh, you know, it runs about 10 or something. I think around, but my God, anything over 5 is concerning. It's like, here's how it works for Foodles. Is she's the guy that shows up at court that's charged with like 4 homicides. And rather than accepting responsibility, she stands up as, well, the Zodiac killer killed X, Y, and Z amount of people. Here's the dealio, Chantal. 2 things can be true at once. Other reaction channels can be obese middle-aged women like you. Other people can be absolutely horrendous serial killers, even worse than what you've done, but it doesn't mean what you're doing is any better. Like I said, 2 things can be true at once. So her logic isn't logicking. And then the other thing she likes to do is always and never statements. Well, everybody, not everybody. Do I believe she gets just absolutely vile comments? You know, 1 or 2 every video? Yes. I get absolutely vile comments. Even on my tiny channel, there's almost always going to be somebody that just leaves an absolutely shitty comment stuff. But to then paint with such broad generalizing strokes that anybody that criticizes is a bigoted, fat phobic, blah, blah, blah. No. And the other thing she likes to do is anytime somebody criticizes her actions, she goes for the ad hominem attacks. She attacks your looks. She attacks your character. She does not have a conversation about the problem. Disingenuous misinformation, lies, you know, just bad behavior. Rather than address that, you know, when somebody says, hey, you are lying to your beezers and basically grifting off of them because this isn't true. You're being lazy. And, you know, she will then turn around, well, you're fat. You're a terrible mom. You know what I mean? You never turn on your camera. You're so gross. She attacks the person's character or looks rather than actually address the criticism, the points of criticism that, they bring up. Once again, two things can be true at once. I've also noticed, something she has a great habit of doing, and it was today, I guess Breezen left her a comment like, what kind of jerk just grabs a kitten and takes off? You can make Julia sick. Chantal said, oh yeah, just boozing? You lost your kid because of the bottle, and didn't you? Then Salad brings up, and she punched her grandpa, so she's got a criminal record and she lost her child. So, mind you, Chantal changed, and the stuff she was doing 2.5 years ago, you can't talk about that. That's in the past. Let it go. Move on. But yet, on the other side of the coin, these things she is clapping back at just breezing for are things that happened like over a decade ago. So which is it? It's more than 3 years old. It's not relevant. Everybody needs to let it go. Or that terrible behavior in the past directly impacts who you are today. Which is it? You cannot have it both ways. So, hey Ruthie, good to see you. Sorry I'm getting behind. Did somebody leave a super chat? Nope. Oh, there's EP. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just off on a little tangent. Hey, Prunella. Good to see you. I said hi to Dashing G. Linda. Ruthie. Jocelyn's mom. Hey, Erin Tay. Good to see you. So, yeah, does that make sense what I'm saying? It just, and this is nothing new. This is standard Chantal. The hypocrisy never ends. And make it make sense. So there's that. And then today, when she grabbed that kitten, I did some quick math, and she got about 500 in super chats. YouTube keeps 30%, so that's about $350 just in super chats, and I can guarantee you she got more than that on PayPal. So I'm going to guess Chantal netted at least $500. $500 is a lot of money. Oh, hey, Ruthie, thank you. I set a goal just to see if I could. Money will go to the overlords, the kitties. So here's the deal. Did you see when Salad said, he said, like, oh, it was like, she said, well, how much was it? And he said 8 KD. And she instantly said, like, oh, that's like what, $35? That right there. He brought up how much okay, before I say anything, if that was not a vet. Yeah, it might have been somebody with some vet tech training, but that looked kind of like a pharmacy. And the way they rolled in there, no gloves, no stethoscope, no blood work, nothing. I get something is better than nothing. For people that truly have no money and you find an animal that's in dire straits, yes, it's good that 9, 10 o'clock at night have somewhere to go and at least get some help from somebody that potentially knows more than you. That was not a vet. Okay? Don't get it twisted. And then on top of that, $34. And then when she came out and said, oh, how much was it? And he said, oh, 8 KD. And she said, oh, so about $35. That right there proves, you know how Chantal's always acting like, well, how much was that? I don't know how it works. I don't know how much it translates to or converts to. Chantal feigns ignorance. She tries to be cutesy and innocent and helpless, so her beezers can mom her. Oh dear, let me tell you, right? She does that on purpose. It's not even learned helplessness. It's feigned ignorance because it's a manipulation tactic. But the way he said 8 KD and she instantly said, oh, about $35. Chantal knows well and true what the conversion rate is and how much money things do and do not cost. Trust and believe. That is my opinion. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you clocked that when she said that. And or if you agree that no, she knows what she's doing. Put a 2 in the chat if you really do think that she actually just doesn't know the conversion, and so when she's acting confused, it's a real thing. I'm a solid 1. That's just me. If you're a 2, that's cool too. So, oh, is there sushi in here? Hello, sushi. So, oh, Jocelyn's mom, thank you. It won't let me like your super sticker. I'm sorry. Yeah, she knows how to multiply, Ruthie. It's all manipulation, you know. And so, gas station sushi. Hey, good to see you. Does not understand. Chantal does not understand. No, I think you're right. She doesn't understand currency, but she is well aware of the conversion rate. Like I said, if somebody, he jumped in the car and said, oh, 8 KD, and she said, oh, so $35. Because 427 times 8, I mean, she knows. She's got, I believe she has the ability. Does she get confused on occasion? Yeah. Why? Because she never uses any of her critical thinking, you know, and it's anything. If use it or lose it. If you don't use proper etiquette, you start to lose it. If you don't speak complete sentences, you start to lose it. If you don't spell appropriately and you get real easy with the slang while texting, you lose it. That's, you know, when you don't ride a bike, you lose it. Yeah, I'm going to manipulate the fuck out of you, and you're going to, you know, watch me and eat it up with a spoon or be back the next day or whatever she said. So, no, it's feigned ignorance because she's trying to ingratiate herself, you know, so that the VI bidiots kind of mom her. Oh, poor thing. And it's just the manipulation. And here's something else I'm going to say. Most of her hardcore beezers that really throw money at her and stuff like that, I'm going to guess a big chunk of them are in the same boat as Chantal. They are as in dire straits financially and health-wise as her, or worse. Like, I'm pretty sure Teardrop has mentioned several times she's in bad shape, bad health. I think Tracy is too. And so, you know, birds of a feather. Water seeks its own level. Are there some reaction channels that are absolutely terrible? Yes, I think so. Hypocrites? Yes, I think so. But the enemy of my enemy is not necessarily my friend. And just because some of the reactors are also lolcows doesn't negate, you know, some of the finer points. I just, if you put it out on the internet for people to consume to make money, well, people have a right to an opinion, and it's just the misinformation, the gross behaviors, the animal neglect. It just, I don't know. I have been watching this for so long, and I've said this before. It's my Game of Thrones season 8. I know it's a shit show, but I'm here to see how it wraps up. So hold on. I need to add water too, and then I'll break out, and we can start watching some of the videos. And lately, I don't know if you can hear me, but you know, it just, and I don't necessarily like some of the people who smack talk Chantal. They are not a whole lot better than her, and they are huge hypocrites, you know? Like, get some self-awareness. So we have this saying on the fire department is, don't ever become part of the emergency. Like, we have the rule of thumb. If there's something involving natural gas or, you know, noxious chemicals and stuff, we have what we call the rule of thumb. If you can't cover the entire scene with your thumb, you know, close one eye, entire scenes covered behind your thumb, rule of thumb, you're too close. Do not become part of the emergency. You're there to help. Slow, methodical. Do not become part of the scene, you know? And I feel the same with Grow World. Don't become part of the circus. Don't become that thing you hate. more than anything, right? I'm not here to lecture anybody, but it's just, you know, just because you don't like some of the reaction channels doesn't mean, you know, you should cozy up to Chantal because she's equally as terrible. These are just my 2 cents. It's just the internet. It's not that deep. Rule of thumb. Exactly. Yeah, if you look into the abyss looks back at you. Man, I just can't. The chat, it keeps telling me there's 13 people here, but I think there's more than 13 people. It's weird. All right. I do have photos. And I've got a video to watch. So here, let me stop feeding these guys. I'll pull out a video. So do we want to see? So she grabbed the cat. Everybody said don't grab the kitten. And her story was when they took it to the vet, said, oh, it's a good thing you grabbed it. It would have died. It was on death's door. It was starving. It needs help. Thank God. That was her story, right? The kitten was dying. Mom was nowhere to be found. Thank God she came along. I think what happened is she got some messages or something, because apparently grabbing cats off the street and rescuing them and stuff, unless you're actually a Kuwaiti citizen, can actually get you in big trouble. So I could see why she pulled that video down, because it was no joke. It can get you in big trouble. And I can see why she changed her tune real quick. She very quickly tried to blame the internet. I was just trying to do something good. No, what happened is she saw dollar signs. Oh, I grabbed this cat, even though the cat could have feline leukemia, which is not curable. There's no treatment. Get it on myself, bring it home to my cat, who then will also probably catch feline leukemia. Chantal says her cat vaccinated. I know you have to have certain vaccines to get it fixed, but then again, I think she went to a back alley, not vet. So what vaccines did she get? Could we see the record? It's really not that hard. So where was I going with this? So yeah, but the stuff she could bring home. Number 2, this kitty did have an infection, so the guy wanted to give it antibiotics, and notice she found out it was a boy. So what happens when you add antibiotics to starving, sick system? You're going to get massive diarrhea for an animal that is not box trained, for an animal that's first nature is to spray and mark, and it's not even necessarily urine. When they spray, there's a huge pheromone load. You can go around with a black light and look. And even with not fixed males that are box trained, you will find spray everywhere. That's what they're gonna do. So I'm just wondering, did she get home? Julia was having none of it. The cat shit on the floor, you know. But, you know, this cat was dying, thank God. And the other thing that not vet said was it had an inverted penis or something like that. That usually means there's a problem with your ureter and stuff, and that usually takes surgery to fix. That is not cheap. So, but yeah, the cat was dying. Thank God she found it. Fuck all you haters. You know, she probably netted $500. Let me pull up the video she put out. I don't know, 2-3 hours later, I'm not quite sure. I've not seen it yet. So I'm sorry, my nose is itching because of cat hair, but I also have a tick with the Tourette's. I do this, like, it's, part of it's a tick, so I don't know why. Oh, all right, let me find that video that she just uploaded. So this afternoon was the stealing the cat from its mom. The kitty was still nursing, and then, but thank God she got it, because it was gonna die. You know, it needed her. Give me money so I can take care of it. Even though she got over $500, she spent like what? She spent $30 $34 at the Not Vet. Not to mention that bag of cat food she's still packing around, that small bag of cat food she's still packing around, that is still the same bag of cat food she initially bought 3+ months ago. So that small bag of cat food sits in her vehicle. It's probably half rancid because the oil's in the meat, and stale as hell. Tiny little bag, and then so she's still going around 3 months later feeding all these stray cats by throwing out like a small handful of food on the ground for like 7 or 8 cats. That money is not going to the cats. That money is not going to feed strays. That money is going for Chantal to support her food habit. She's a food addict. It's basically like giving a drug addict money to go grab a pack of gum. We all know what they're gonna buy. My nose tick is blow. Yeah, so hey, Chow Gadoo is gonna be epic, right? Okay, so let's see, what was I thinking about? I'm struggling tonight. I can't remember, but I'm trying to find that video, but if everybody remembers her though, where she was insisting that cat was gonna die without her, and thank God. Okay, so for whatever reason, is the farms down? I'm trying to find. Okay, that was yesterday. Okay, that's yesterday. I'm trying to find the videos from today because I don't like 31 minutes ago. Okay, hold on. All right, I might have to. Okay. Hold on, guys. I have to get everything. Okay, the archive is not up. So she had the binge eating disorder that she doesn't have, video taken down, and she's really been slacking on her recorded. And then the live stream she did with the stolen kitty has been pulled down. Okay, hold on. So I'm not quite sure what time that happened, but
okay.
Let me get everything lined up. I know I'm a mess, guys. You guys know it. I know it. Okay. Everybody, remember, though, everything she said, her excuses while grabbing the kitty right off the street, even though the mom was there, everybody saw it, or do you want me to go back and find a clip of it so everybody can catch up? Put a 1 if you want to see a clip of her excuse and what she said for grabbing the kitty. Put a 2 if you just want to dive right into the excuse, the sequel excuse. So 1, you want to see a recap of her grabbing the cat and all the explanations. Put a 2 if you just want to dive right into her 180. So 2 is for 180. Are the beers ready? So we've got a couple 2s. We've got a couple 2s. And if we do watch her excuses for grabbing the kitty, it's just going to be a clip channel real quick. I'm sure somebody's just highlighted the excuses, but okay. Nella, 2, 2, 2, 2. We've got quite a few 2s. So, okay, hold on. It's looking more like 2s. People are not overly chatty tonight, it seems like. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, you guys are going to have to... Okay, let me see. Oops. You can't vote. I don't have my ID, right? Just leave blood at the door, Chow. Okay, hold on. You guys are used to this, whatever this is that I do. All right. Okay. First, let me put, okay, I'm not really seeing, I don't know if the chat has frozen or what. Here, real quick. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, just listen to this real quick. I'm trying to adjust the volume, okay? So this is a clip from Piggy. It's not staying here. It's just, I want you guys to see this while I get it all organized, okay? Oh, thank you, Crazy Cat Lady. We're not going to watch this. We're going to watch her excuse, but I'm just, okay. Okay. And she's not very loud right now simply because, yeah, that tiny bag, like, that's looking like a same bag she's had forever. Look at that, all those cats, and she puts that one tiny handful. Okay, hold on. Yeah, thanks, Crazy Cat Lady. Okay, the money will go to the kitties, to Vishnu and Morgoth. Put a 1 in the chat if the volume is okay. Put a 2 in the chat if it's not, if you can't hear. It's not great quality. So.
They would freak over chicken.
Okay.
Huh? If it was one cat,
so
okay, but
how's that volume? Is it too loud? To let me know in chat. Volume, the volume's just fine. She's not saying anything. Hold on. Okay. Okay, here.
She's very skinny. Oh, feel her ribs.
1 means it's good. 2 means no. The volume's way off. So let me know.
Be careful, hon. She's very fragile.
Okay, right here, the gaslighting. She's so fragile.
We should take her.
The kitty is so fragile. She just let it jump out of her arms onto the ground. But you see here's where it's going. Watch this. Nobody wants to, but yeah. Does this volume sound okay?
We can bring her to the vet tomorrow. No, she needs a doctor. She has ear mites. They need to clean them out.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that.
Don't let her drop.
The fake vet did not clean the cat's ears either. She keeps looking at it to see if it's a boy or girl. Yeah, this I didn't do. Hold on. Okay.
It's mother.
It's very starving.
Yeah. How's the volume?
We need a name.
Beezer. Okay, go, Yella. Cage, please.
Yeah, okay, let's be done with this. So everybody saw this. Everybody knows she was lying. She was gaslighting. She was saying whatever she had to do to support her opinion. And the fact so many people said, no, cat back, that's wrong. And did you see, Salad actually read, somebody sent a $5 super chat and says, Sala, you know, the cats could have fine leukemia. And if they have that, there's no vaccination for Julia and there's no cure. Well, he read that and he said, oh, I know, understand. And Chantal said, oh, they're just worried about the kitty making Julia sick. Don't worry, she's vaccinated. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember that, where Salad said, I don't understand about this thing. Put a 1 if you remember where she flat out twisted the narrative and lied to him. Oh no, Julia's vaccinated, it's fine. Put a 2 if you didn't catch it. So no, she flat out. This wasn't a lying by omission. This wasn't a half-truth. This was a bald-faced lie by Chantal. Because regardless of how good at English Salad likes to pretend, his comprehension of the written English language and his understanding of things that are said to him is extremely limited. And I think Chantal manipulates him a lot that way because he has such limited understanding. Let's see. EP, she stated she'd seen 1 dead kitten. By the end of the stream it was 3. Exactly. Like, remember when she was getting ready? Exactly, EP. When she getting ready to get rid of BBJ was 17. And then a few weeks later, she was 18. And then she was 19. And then when she was talking about Vet, she was 20. And then she was 22. I think BBJ ended up to nearly 22 years old when she had started at 17 years old. And that was just a matter of a few weeks, right? So Chantal conflates conversations. She inflates numbers. She paints with broad generalizing strokes. And the biggest thing with Chantal is when somebody tells her no, she will dig her heels in, and she's the nose that will spite or cut. She will cut off her own nose to spite her own face. Like, she is that, just that oppositional, right? So, okay, I'm going to now put on, so we saw that where this kitten, the vet told her that the kitten was going to die. Thank God you brought it. So, because it needs antibiotics, it has all these infections. It hasn't eaten. Well, it ate this morning. Turns out the kitten is still nursing. Nursing kitties takes a lot of work. So, okay, so we all heard that and how the cat's going to die. The vet said, the not vet said, thank God you saved this cat. Well, I think she got home. She did some Googling. I think she might have got messages from some of her VI bidiots who are like, hey, you know, like, this is more than just grabbing a cat on live stream. This is legal problems where you can be removed from the country. Let's see what Foodles had to say about that.
Hey guys, so I'm here.
Okay. How does that I'm push play, and you're going to have to let me know how the volume sounds. Oh, okay. Okay.
To give you a update on the cat situation, doing a video because I want a video of the cat. So you guys know that we found a kitten in the park. It was by itself. It wasn't with any other kittens.
That's a lie.
You know, we didn't see a
There
mom
were other
anywhere,
cats.
anything like that. So in haste, I
Okay.
collected the kitten because
Okay, put a 1 if that volume's okay. Put a 2 if it's too loud. It sounds very loud to me. So 1 if it sounds good, 2 if it's too loud. Yeah, she went to a pharmacist, and I don't even know if it was an actual pharmacist or if it was just, you know, the worker that happens to know a little bit about. So 1, you say it's good. We did see other cats. 1, here you are says, Nirvana says 1. Okay, I'm gonna push play. So just listen to how much this story morphs.
felt really bad for it. It was really hot. It was panting. It was severely malnourished. When I held it, I could feel.
Did you see that cat panting? Cat's panting is very, very obvious. That cat was not panting.
Like rattling in its lungs. So we decided to take it to a vet. The vet looked over the cat. It had, you know, they said, thank God you found the kitten because, or like they said, basically, like it was meant to be that you found the kitten because the kitten would have died if it had not, you know, been seen.
Okay, so mind you, that kitten would have died if it did not treatment. I guess the treatment would be antibiotics twice a day for the next 2 weeks, okay?
I gave it antibiotic treatment because it has infections in
Okay, they bought antibiotics. This cat has not had antibiotics except for maybe one.
its lungs and in its nether region. So it's just in bad shape. It hasn't eaten since like in a while. It was just in really bad shape.
Okay, I'll stop stopping. Chantal's idea of starving and not eating is if this woman goes more than a half hour without eating, that's a long time. She doesn't know what, you know, hungry actually is.
So we had it completely looked over. We're given antibiotics to give twice a day.
Antibiotics to give twice a day. It was in that pharmacy place for what, maybe 10 minutes with a store clerk.
So basically, after getting online, buying all the supplies, I kind of felt like we kind of talked it over, and we felt like, you know.
Put a 1 in the chat if you think they talked it over and she realized her chat was right. Put a 2 in the chat if you think somebody pointed out, hey, videotaped yourself doing a crime that can get you removed from this country. 1, Oh no, she realized her altruistic act was not so smart. Mind you, they had 10-15 minutes to be talked out of this. Put a 2 if you think, no, Chantal thinks this is going to fuck up her gig.
What if it does have a mom? Maybe we should about the mom. I don't know. Anyways, long story short, we went back to the park and there is a mom. The mom looks also malnourished and not condition.
The mom does not look malnourished, but I digress.
But I don't know if it is right if we're able to just snatch cats off the streets. I don't know. I'm not in Canada. I'm in a different country, and I have to take that into account.
Yeah.
As well. So
that right there. I'm not in Canada. I'm in a different country. I don't know. She's not curious enough to look it up, but somebody, probably Tracy or somebody looked it up and probably pointed out. Real quick, let me point out exactly what it says online. If you Google grabbing kitties off the street in Kuwait, hold on. The AI tells you, the AI overview. If you Google, grabbing homeless cats, you can take in homeless cats in Kuwait. Does not have a centralized animal shelter system, but hold on, but it says that you need to be a citizen. Guys, I'm pretty sure, am I looking at something wrong? Okay, right here. Yeah, so this right here is if you go and look specifically on who can. If you go, it says, so do not take kittens off the street anywhere. Let's see. I'm trying to find the thing that I found. It specifically said, I had it pulled up on my phone and then I somehow lost it, but it specifically says that if you are not a citizen of Kuwait, that grabbing cats off of the street can actually end up with you being removed from the country. So hold on. Does anybody know where that was? I know, I'm just making an absolute mess. Let's see. Many individuals. Kuwait has lenient animal cruelty laws. Rescue organizations. Okay, hold on. I'm just trying to find the AI overview. Yeah, let's see. And it says that under current law in Kuwait, anyone rescuing animals who is not a citizen can be removed from the country at any time. AI overview. I was just trying to find the little clip that I screenshotted. And sorry, I'm just, like I said, you have to be specific, but it says, yes, you can grab cats, but if you're not a citizen and you're grabbing them off the street, it gives the right to remove you. I could be completely wrong about this, but that's information that I found. Okay, I'll shut up. Sorry.
I will end some videos of us here. We found the mom for the baby, and immediately it started nursing. The cat, the vet is...
It immediately started nursing. That means the cat was not eating the whole time Chantal had it. And it was hungry because the vet said, oh, it's 8 weeks old. And they begin to wean between 8 and 10 weeks old. But that cat could have very well only been 6-7 weeks old and, very hungry.
8 weeks. So, it's still nursing on its mom, though. So, alhamdulillah, we found the mom. I'm so happy. Here's the videos.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, yeah. So here is the mom. I don't know where she was earlier, but
and she was sitting right there when you stole her baby.
Yeah, all is well, except that I'm still...
Okay, I know I keep pausing, but notice that The film is vertical. Chantal always films horizontal, so she did not go out. Salad went out because Salad films vertical. Salad went out. Salad brought the cat back. He knew exactly where to go. That mom wasn't missing. They snatched that kitty right from mom.
Worried about the health of the kitten and the cat, so
it's instantly starts nursing because it's
any
hungry.
donations that we received, we will still put towards feeding this little.
Any donations we receive, we'll put towards, yeah. So she netted over $500 fucking dollars, and she's still using that same cat food bag from 3 months ago.
Family, so if you'd like to still, it'll still be Bruce Lee, our little cat, but it'll just be in the park. So yeah, we will still come daily to
put a
give
1 in the chat
antibiotics
if you think,
and everything like that. And
okay, I'll stop and put a 1 in the chat if you think for a fucking second they're going to be going out there twice a day to give those antibiotics. That cat, put a 1 in the chat if you think that cat is going to get antibiotics twice a day for 2 weeks. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that it'll get a day or two's worth and then they'll drop off and the cat's going to be left with antibiotic resistant bacteria, spread it to the other animals, and potentially make the problem worse. I'm a 2, but
care of the cat and feed the mom, give them water. It looks like the cat is still nursing despite being about 8 weeks, as what the vet said. So yeah, here's some really cute footage.
Notice
of
it's
nursing. Now, when we did take the kitten out of the carrier, it didn't want to leave.
It's off to the side of the store.
Eventually found the mom. The mom is very cute, and
So
is kitten. I can't get.
Mom's not fat, but boy, that's not an emaciated kitty. It's just not.
Over how adorable that is. I hope they're going to be okay in the Kuwait heat. And
so, well, why would they be okay, Chantal? You're going to be going out there twice a day to feed it and give it water and give it the antibiotics. You have the ability to catch up on it. Better yet, there are no other kitties. Why don't you just grab both of them because you're so concerned?
The harsh conditions of being outside. I didn't mean anything nefarious or bad from doing this. I just the kitten to get checked out. She wanted
content. She's so desperate for content. Nobody cares about the health bullshit, and she's so fat and she's so lazy that she saw a way, she saw the dollar signs, and suddenly, man, that cat was going home with her.
Care of, and
still
I really wish I could save every cat I see. I really do, but that's not the reality. And anytime I do anything like this, we just have good intentions.
That's a lie.
Yeah, enjoy.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Still learning. And there's Salad giving it soft food because Chantal's not there. Salad's doing this alone. That kitten still nursing all this time later. Exactly, EP. Yeah. The cat is still nursing. It's hungry because it had been taken from its mother. Notice the cute upbeat music. Like, look at me. Man. So she got a video yesterday taken down because she's trying to get pity and e-bag off of a diagnosis that she doesn't even legitimately have from an actual medical doctor. And now it's like she is getting money because feeding the strays is getting to be, it's a lot of work to go out and lug that same 3-pound bag of food out of the car, once a week. So, yeah, kitten is still nursing, and mom's like over halfway through.
So we gave the very hungry mom some food and some water, and
yeah, so your average cat, it's like 1 can of wet cat food a day. That would be considered a meal. That was one of those tiny cans of kitten food That's not going to get another drop of food from these two. Everything they got is going to go to Julia. And I also believe they get Julia the cheapest, shittiest cat food, because the majority of the donations that they get, she's gotten like $250 worth of donations and hasn't done any beezing, the VI bidiots in days. She's just, people are just, throwing good money after bad.
I think that's honestly the best thing.
So which is it? The kitty's gonna die. Thank God you got it off the streets. It was on death's door. Or it's the best thing for you to leave it out with its mom.
Maybe the cat will have diseases or something that we don't know about yet. I am kind of worried about Juice. I think, we were a bit impulsive taking the cat.
Yeah, same, Minka. Same.
I'm not even sure if we're really allowed to do that. So I want to go there.
Exactly.
And I just feel like it has a mom. This is the best thing for now. I do want to say, for the very miserable people who, were just so awful and hateful when we were trying to do something good.
Yes.
Have the nerve to sit there and claim that I'm an animal abuser.
No.
Have the nerve to
No, claiming that she's an animal abuser is a statement somebody makes about another person. We're not claiming she's an animal abuser. She is a documented animal abuser. Those are two separate things.
When you see cats come out and about, if we're ever out and about and you see a starving cat or you see a dead kitten on the street,
exactly,
you have no right to complain about that, because you complain when you see that and I can't do anything about it. And then when I try to do something nice,
when I snatch a baby kitty, a feral kitty, and that cat actually wasn't feral, because anybody that's ever been around feral cats, you cannot get close. That kitten was not feral. The mom wasn't even true feral. You can't get next to feral kitties. These cats have been socialized. They might be a little wild, but they are not, community cats. They're not truly feral.
Complain and say you're going to mass report.
Exactly,
blah, blah, blah.
Chow.
It's actually really sad. And then you have the nerve to say that I'm an animal abuser. For those of you who sent donations to PayPal, okay. I didn't make all kinds of money.
Here comes the lies. I didn't make all kinds of money. Shitted over $500. You could go out to a reputable cat rescue here in the Pacific Northwest, which is one of the most expensive places to live. I live very close to the second highest cost of living in the United States. You could go out, get 2 cats that are chipped, vaccinated, fixed, yards, and spend about $350. So she netted $500.
People think, if you want your money back, let me know. I'll be happy to refund it.
Oh yeah.
Let me know either way.
Feel free to email me, because the second you give fucking details, I will figure a way to dox you, or to get your information to Teardrop Tracy or one of the other lowlife so they can dox you.
If you want it refunded.
Yeah. That's a lie.
You can send me a message on there.
X'd out.
If you want it to go towards.
Listen to that. You can send me a message on there. Where, Chantal? Where can they leave you a message? Okay, listen. So put it X'd out.
The kinds of money people think. If you want your money back, let me know. I'll be happy to refund it. Let me know either way if you want it refunded.
Okay. Let me know.
You can send me a message on there.
Send me a message on there.
Want the money to go towards the cat still, because we have the antibiotics already.
Okay.
The food, and what I'm gonna do is go to the park.
We even saw she just got very few things of food, because she told Salad, well, what if she doesn't like it? We'll see what she likes and then get her more. So she only got 2-3 cans of cat food. She did not get very much. She got enough for that adult cat. She probably got enough to feed that mom cat for about a day and a half. Maximum. All wet food. So
and still give the antibiotic.
So let's say it costs 1 KD. Let's say it costs $4 per can. So she spent about 12 USA dollars on cat food. I don't even think she spent that much. So let's say she spent 50 American dollars total, 65 total. That is still a minimum of $440 she's netted.
Because that will give the cat another chance at, more of a chance at life. I'm gonna still do my best to, buy supplies for the cat, like feed the cat.
That's a lie.
Feed the mom.
That's a lie.
Go give them water.
That's a lie.
Every day.
That's
try to
a
help
lie.
them in the park directly.
That's a lie.
That's all I can do right now, So
small word with no meaning when used alone. This is Chantal realizing she got her ass in a sling. I'm going to get the proof down, and I'm everybody else. This is what happens when you have a family of enablers that calls you cutie, and because you're such a holy they never call you out on your bad behavior, and it enables you. And they keep calling you cutie, and they keep telling you how awesome you are, and because they keep bailing you out, you never face any serious consequences. This is, you end up a 41-year-old train wreck who is literally unaliving themselves daily, little bit at a time, and it's getting quicker and quicker, and blaming everybody else. And unfortunately, everything around her suffer. Even her pet pervert who was trying to scam her. These two truly deserve each other.
Yeah. Kuwait has rules in place about, taking cats off the street because the reason that they could have diseases.
Yeah.
All this and that. I get.
Kuwait has rules. See, so that's what happened. She realized she could get her ass in a sling.
So, yeah. Kuwait has in place about, taking cats off the street because of the reason that they could have diseases.
Yep.
All this and that. I get that. I respect it. I wasn't aware of that.
I respect that. The second people told her no, put it back, and she saw those dollar signs, that goddamn cat was going home with her. And she thought it was cute. So cute. An untrained male cat that's way too young to get fixed. It's going to cost a lot of money, that has some kind of urethra, so it's always going to have urination problems. It's going to spray, that potentially could have feline leukemia. She lies to Salad saying, oh no, Julia's vaccinated. I mean, it was just a full-blown, defiant teenager. I'll do what I want. Like she told Salad the other day, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my dad. Are you fucking kidding me? Have you heard of more juveniles? You can't tell me what to do. You're not my dad. Oh, God.
But I don't really have anything else to say. Those who were kind.
Okay, I will stop yelling. I'm sorry. I just get really upset about animal stuff. Sorry.
And supportive and, cared about the kitten. Thank you so much. But yeah, it did have mom.
Disgusting.
So I was wrong about that. So I'm kind of happy that it's back with its mom, but I'm still sad that, it has a mom, but the cat was like on death's door.
On death's door.
If we hadn't intervened,
On death's door if they hadn't intervened. What did they do? They grabbed the cat. It went about 6-7 hours without eating because they had it in a vehicle. And when they were getting ready to go into the pet store to get the food and stuff, Salad was going to leave that cat in the hot vehicle, and Chantal said, no, we got to bring it with us. And he's like, why? She's like, because it's hot. Salad is 1,000% that asshole that would leave his baby in a rig to, you know what I mean.
So, the cat was by itself. I don't see any other kittens. I think that might be the only cat in the litter. There was no other kittens. Even when we went and looked again around the whole park, there were no other kittens. So that might be the only one in the litter.
When I went and looked around the entire park, okay, we've seen Chantal get so incredibly winded that she has to sit down for 20 minutes feet 10 feet. Do you honestly think she walked around that entire park? Put a 1 in the chat if you think she walked around that entire park. Put a 2 if you think she's full of dookie.
And that or the other ones have passed away. That's very possible. Like I said, we've seen many deceased kittens, and
so
I just
she saw one deceased kitten, then it was up out many deceased kittens. This is kind of like Chantal saying, "Oh, I'm chubby." Man, she just can't be honest.
find it diabolical that people hate me so bad, and I can never do anything right, that you're willing to
I will say this, Chantal, if the shoe fits, I can think of nothing that you actually do correctly, nothing that you do out of empathy or kindness or thoughtfulness or even just being a responsible adult. I think of anything. The one thing, and fine, call me shallow and petty. I am cammed up. I put my life out on the internet. You know, I am open to criticism. I'm not perfect, but I can tell you the one thing that Sean's better than anybody else is she serves as the poster child for how not to live your life. Ask yourself, what would Foodie do, and do the opposite, and you're probably going to be okay. Like, she serves no purpose on this planet. She is gluttonous. She is lazy. She overconsumes. She takes up so many resources and space and gives nothing back except to serve as a bad example. You know, and it's shocking because I cannot think of another human being I've ever witnessed just this useless.
wish death on a kitten, like basically, because if we hadn't brought it to the vet, it probably wouldn't have lived. Like,
it's not a vet. You took it to sorry, I knocked stuff for you. Took it to a pharmacy, and you supposedly bought antibiotics. We haven't seen the antibiotics, and then again, maybe she bought the antibiotics, and potentially, you know, she might be bringing the antibiotics back to return, because if the antibiotics are not opened, you could just return an unopened container to that place, right? We don't see her giving anything to that kitten, nothing. So we'll wait and see, cutie.
what the vet said.
Not a vet.
You know?
Not a fucking vet.
And for people saying, I'll bring my own cat to the vet. Yes, we do.
No.
We bring our cats to the vet.
Yeah, you found some fly-by-night, back alley, pharmacy place open at 10 o'clock at night that charged you $34. No glove, no sterilization, no stethoscope, no blood work. Cutie, that's not a goddamn vet. And you know it.
Y'all need to stop. It's really crazy. It's really sad. Like, I can't get over how evil people are.
It is. I know. You know what, Chantal? It is sad. And I cannot get over how evil some people can be. To think that another living being is there to act as a prop in your pathetic existence. And, you know, I try not to get personal stuff. This is just simply the content we see her monetizing, and the animal neglect and the gaslighting and the disingenuous and the misinformation is just, I cannot.
You know what?
Whatever.
Stay that way. You're not getting any of my attention anymore.
That's a lie.
So the cat's with the mom.
So I don't talk about this anymore. That's it. You're never going to hear it again. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Imagine if you had a bingo card with that on every spot. You'd get bingo a day.
I don't know how to refund super chats.
Oh, ask for your money back, but I don't know how to give it back.
Automatically. So
YouTube takes, so go ahead and ask for a refund. Oh, I don't know how to give it to you. Get a hold of me on there, where there is. Oh, and by the way, YouTube takes a percentage, so I can't even give you back the full amount. Right there. It's like, oh, I'll money back. And here's 5,000 reasons why I can't, how it's not my problem, and I don't even get all the money, and poor me, you lying, grifting whisker biscuit.
I will still use that towards helping these cats out as much as I can.
Press X to doubt.
If you want something else, content-wise, with your donated money, just let me know. Otherwise,
everybody remember when Annie with whatever gave her, what was it, $200 to the vet, and then Chantal did not take the cat to the vet, not even the mobile vet, maybe it was 100, and then she said, once you give me the money, it's mine. You don't get to tell me how to spend it. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember that little conversation.
That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Okay, so that's it. See you guys later.
Yeah, Annie with the P. All right, so that, oops.
So I have been putting some serious hours this year trying.
Okay, so there was that. Hold on. I know I'm just sitting here. I'm like screaming into the void here. Foodles. I don't tag Foodles when I do the lives, so I don't think I don't know. Do you think she watches these lives to see what we say? I know she watches my shorts and stuff when, foodie's in the title and stuff, but I've never tagged her, and I don't say anything about her on these lives. So put a 1 if you think she watches my lives when I go live, because they always touch on her. Put a 2 if you think, nah, she can't be bothered, because I've noticed any of the channels that go like that cam up that aren't overweight or complete train wrecks and stuff, boy, she won't address any of that. Or I love her favorite insult, but ladies, bish, you're the same age we are, So it's just, and the ad hominem attacks. And granted, I go after her looks and things like that, but it's not like, oh, she's ugly. I go after her because she's super morbidly obese with uncontrolled diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, idiopathic blood clots caused because of her obesity. She doesn't have a gallbladder because of her eating habits since she was very young, beginning stages of probably congestive heart failure or something, because she's got an enlarged heart. So these are all things that she has admitted to us. And anytime you say anything, it's my mental. So yeah, I comment about things, but I comment about things that she has done to herself, she has caused to herself, and things that she does have control over. I think she has some genetic or thin hair on top, but I think the reason she's bald is because many super morbidly obese women, because of malnutrition, because of the highly processed, hyper palatable shit food they eat, their body is still starving. So, and not to mention, you usually become very hypothyroid because you get too fat for your thyroid to keep up with. So, I do comment on looks and stuff sometimes, but it's how they relate back to the things she's done to herself, and the comments she says about other people. Like, she always goes after people's looks, their status as a mother, and things like that. And I really think Chantal is a case study in, if you tell somebody with just a crazy ego, and they've lived sheltered their entire life, and they're very strong-willed, and they're already kind of a selfish, unempathetic, self-centered fuck, which I believe her to have been since she was very young, but you're always telling her, oh, cutie, and you get enabled and stuff like that, you end up with somebody in their middle age like Chantal. I really do think she thinks she's prettier than most people. I think she knows she's super morbidly obese, but I think in her mind she's just a little chubby, and all she has to do is change this, that, and the other, and she could get on top of it. Nobody of her size should be referring to themselves as chubby. She thinks her little baby talk and her feigned helplessness, I'm so cute and quirky. No, it's not cute and quirky. It's disgusting, and you can just tell with the relationship she has with Salad and their interactions, that she really doesn't know how a normal relationship goes. And did you hear the other day when they were fighting? I didn't even watch the total fight, but she said, what was it she said after all the things she started to say? How could you say that after all the stuff all the things I do for you. She caught herself mid-sentence. I think she was going to say, after all the things I'm supposed to do for you, or something like that. I really think they have a business arrangement. And she caught herself and said, after all the things I do for you. But you could see, he made that little comment about a couple things, and then he kind of got over it, and you saw her just get more and more and more wrapped up in it, and she was livid after a little while. How dare you? And so just picture 14, 15, 16-year-old Chantal pulling that shit with her mom. And she's even said, Smee is a pushover, not confrontational and stuff. And Chantal would just wind up and get really aggressive. And they would all just say, okay, whatever, cutie, and apologize and stuff. And you saw her do that with Salad. Just the how dare you? How dare you? Because she is fully not good to deal with any kind of pushback for her own bad behavior. That's just, and this is 1,000% on Smee. So when Chantal finally has that, that final blood clot stroke or whatever happens, or Smee is going to be the one stuck changing the diapers and and waiting on her hand and foot, because she's absolutely huge. Nobody else is going to be able to tolerate her, and I don't feel bad for Smee at all. Like, she 1,000% created help. Like, she already had somebody that was wholly unpleasant to deal with, but she created this monster by not being a responsible parent, not putting her foot down, not parenting this child. She just let Chantal run the show, kept calling. It wasn't until Chantal, when she was 15 years old, stuck Natalie in the dryer, and then Chantal laughed and said, oh, it wasn't even plugged in. She said that. She stuck Natalie in the dryer, but it wasn't even plugged in. And that was the final straw. That's when the state or the province got involved. And Chantal was removed from home because she couldn't be there. And within a few days, Chantal called and guilted her grandma and started bouncing between there and Shannon's and stuff like that. Like I said, she was just a wild, spoiled teenager that was allowed to get away with murder. Smee couldn't deal with it. Oh, thank you, Dashing D. Sorry, I'm off on a tangent. So, yeah. Bottle. Let's see. Spiteful Warrior. Can anyone tell me what stream it was of he poured water on her head and they had the disagreement? I missed it. I can't remember which one that was. I saw it, but I just cannot. He wants her to kiss her ass, and I think he's sick of it. Yeah, I think Salad, there's no sexual relationship right there. I do think it's almost like Stockholm Syndrome. Like, he's stuck there with her, right? And he needs to keep her. Sorry, I'm looking for. Hold on, guys. I need to find my dish rag. Hold on. I don't think you can hear me from here. Hold on. Salad knows he needs her alive to get to Canada. I think the Maroon actually thinks he still has a chance to get to Canada with her, because we saw when somebody wrote a very basic comment, hey, feline leukemia is not treatable, there's no cure, and you can't vaccinate against it. And he goes, oh, I don't understand, after he read it. And Chantal said, oh, and she lied. I don't think he understands fully. I think a lot of the Western world is filtered through Chantal's lies. I don't think he truly understands what's going on. So I do think that Salad thinks, oh, we're going to pay $1,700 a month, and I'll get this kind of paid off, and then I get to go to Canada. Not to mention Kuwait is clamping down more and more. What was it? Something like 20,000, I can't remember, but people that have been Kuwaiti residents, I want to say even citizenships after a couple decades, they were married to Kuwaitis, they have children, everything. Kuwait negated their citizenship. I think it was citizenship to the point where maybe it's just residence. I'm pretty sure it's citizenship though, where they lost their passports. They basically became stateless overnight. People that had worked there for 2-3 decades, they had passports, they paid into the retirement system. Suddenly they woke up, their passport was no good, they couldn't get into their bank account, everything had been frozen. They're doing this to people who were productive members of society. So you get somebody like Salad, who's basically, you know, claiming a refugee status from Syria. He's getting nervous. He wants to get out of there. So he's relying on her. So I think he cares as much as how you would with that crazy roommate. Like I think Salad might be a little special. I don't think he's playing 3D chess. I think he's kind of a scammer and a scumbag and has those weird proclivities, but I think he's very smart. So I think he's easy to get along with because I think he's intellectually stunted and not overly curious. So, you know, he's going to get along. So I think he cares on that level. No one wants their cash cow to die or their ticket to wherever, you know, and he knows if I don't sell this marriage, you know, I'm not going into Canada. So I think he does that okay on film. And then on top of that, that Mizyar marriage that they have, I believe they probably have one of those. They're perfectly legal where they're at, legal as far as they can live together and stuff, as far as anything that a Western company would recognize as a legally binding marriage. No, they are not legally married. It means nothing in the Western world. So, you know, keep telling yourself that, Salad. Where was I going with this? So, yeah, I think he cares on that, but they are awkward, but I do think she's a pig. I'm sure the place smells, and I'm sure he probably gets tired of picking up after her, but I'll pull out some of the snapshots, but she has gotten noticeably bigger, you know. I'm just wondering how long this moron is gonna, you know, keep trying to grip her, and as much as I don't want Salad to end up on the North American continent, put a 1 in the chat if you would love to see Salad in Canada, just so you'd see her absolutely lose her mind when he goes and starts exploring the world and realizing everything she said was untrue. Though I'm going to say on her, what she's making, they can afford Canada. She couldn't even barely afford to rent a Roach Motel hole in the wall for herself. Like, she cannot afford to eat. So, okay. Oh, somebody just gave me a super chat. Ev, enjoy your channel very much. Your channel is great. Oh, thank you. All centered. And if anybody's curious, I put the goal, and it was just a joke, but any money, when I finally get it, I have to get $100 before YouTube will send me. It will go for the kitties toys. So let's see. It seems like, oh, and I said thank you to Dashing D. So yeah, I would love, let's see, it would be payoff for the last 2.5 years, right? So they cannot afford Canada because she's paying $1,700 a month. She's probably pulling in maybe $5,000 a month currently. She's doing the e-bagging. She's got her cameos. She got the merch. She gets some super chats with those gold, but her views are really going down. So she's not getting much off of that. And I'm just curious, you know, and her VI idiots at this point. Like, how long are these morons going to keep giving her money? And how many times are we going to get cameos? And how many times are people going to buy that absolute trash merchandise? You know, there's nothing original. It's AIs. It's you know, and I know I sound like I'm a terrible nitpicky person. My point is she is a systemic sponge. She just takes, and for whatever reason, because she does have some pretty gross reactors that go after her. Some reasons, or just as bad as her, is everybody has the enemy of my enemy, my friend attitude. Two things can be true at once. Some of her reactors can be absolute laughing cow, low-cow train wrecks that are to be despised, and she can also be a terrible human being. It's the misinformation, the animal neglect, the grifting, and the hypocrisy. Like, if you want to grift, but how she goes after everybody else, and she wants to silence and censor everybody. It's just, I don't know, make it make sense. Back's on her knees. So, let's see. Oh, hey, Goose. Is Goose Chuck in here? Hey, Ennis, good to see you. It's probably, Ennis, is it about 6 in the morning over there right now, Ennis? Oh, hey, Goose, good to see you. I worked my anger and sadness today. Farm work, exactly. Goose, we've already gone. It just, the cat thing about broke me. We've talked about it, the hypocrisy, just, so... Ennis, let me know if it's, let's see, is it like 6 or 7 a.m. where you are right now over there in Norway? It seems like you're, let's see, it's 11, 12, 1, 2, or is it 7 over there? I'm going to look quick because you're in Norway. I want to see you're 8 hours ahead. And let's look at some photos too. Right now, and then we can pull up another video. So, London, Paris, 8. So I'm gonna guess it's about 8 a.m. where you're at, Ennis, I think. And if you don't want to say, that's fine. I will stop putting you on the spot. My deepest apologies. And I'm sorry if, yeah, exactly. Okay, so let me pull up some of the photos I have, and I've got my notebook, but it just seems like what went down today, as I've said, I'm trying not to say, like I said, you know, as you know, overall, Chantal has been a broken record. It's different flavors of awful, but it's the hypocrisy, the I'm never talking about this again, and talks about it. I do believe she is actively gaining weight. 1000%. She is not, she has no BED. That's self-diagnosed. Doctors refuse to give it to her. She's eating and wants that BED excuse. She's a food addict. She's been told to stop eating in her car, and she refuses. Let's see what I've got written down. Let me see. It's just like I write down specifics, and I could call out the hypocrisy and the, you know, the, what is it, the mental dissonance or the cognitive dissonance, but we all already know this. I'm beating a dead horse here. Let's see. Because calling out your, why should you be a, let me find. No, not there, just saying I'm not discussing that, and then don't, which means, well, it wouldn't, okay, that's, okay, so I'm trying to find the dates on this. Everybody go grab yourself something to eat and drink. Okay, that's way far, okay, this is way far back, and we know the power's going out over there. I think she would like to be anywhere but Kuwait, but she can't go back to Canada. Her family doesn't want her. If they do, she can't bring salad there. She doesn't want salad there. And she doesn't have a place to live. She can't afford a place to live. It's supposed to be 110 today. I love that for her. Yeah, change your name back, Goose, man. Hey, Taco, good to see you. We're just on here. Basically, Foodles did today is she kidnapped a kitten off the street from its mother, grifted $500, netted $500 profit, claimed the kitten was going to die if she hadn't grabbed it, didn't take it to the vet, took it to an after-hour pharmacies with pet supplies, had the cashier there look at it and said, oh, you brought it in because it was going to die. got home, realized for her to have videotaped herself grabbing an animal off the street very well is illegal because she's not a citizen and could get her removed from Kuwait. So this kitten that was gonna die, thank God she got it and got antibiotics for it to give twice a day, went then and dumped it back on the street and now claims, oh, we're gonna keep it fed and we'll go out there twice a day to give it its antibiotics, after netting $500 profit. I mean, tell me you are a massive, grifting, e-bagging, animal abusing piece of shit without telling me those things. Oh, but then she blamed it on the internet. So normally I don't get too personal in my attacks, but this, no, as Goose would say, eat a bag of silicone dicks on this one. I cannot with the animal abuse. It's so upsetting. Let's see. Okay, I said thank you to Always Centered. It's our fault. It's our fault. It's our fault. Okay, let me pull out something else for us to... Okay, I'm going to pull out the photos I've screenshotted, and then we'll watch something else. Sorry. This isn't exactly bad baking, but I am feeding it. I'll probably put it under bad baking simply because I'm feeding my sourdough, and you have a ridiculous amount of sourdough. But my God, it's so good. Those sourdough pancakes Mr. Gradebo makes, very yummy. But he only uses, and I think I have a recipe for starting some sourdough bread, so I'm getting there. I've been spending all my time, getting seeds and stuff going. It's blowing so hard today that I had a nearly full water up on the rail, and it blew it off and picked it up and blew it across the yard. We had sustained winds of like 35 miles per hour with gusts up to 50. A gust up to 50 miles per hour would be, let's see, 100 would be 60. So a gust of 50 miles an hour would be about 35 kilometers per hour. So the gusts were up to 35 kilometers per hour, and the sustained wind that kept blowing steady was probably close to 29 kilometers per hour. It was, I'm just ballparking, but it was substantial where it picked up and knocked over a nearly full watering can I have that holds like 2 gallons of water, and a gallon of water is 3.75 liters. So 3.75 times 2 is 7.5 liters of water, which weighs about 17 pounds, is like closer to 10 kilograms, or 1 stone and 2 pounds for the people in the UK. So, I mean, it was a substantial weight that the wind just moved off the rail. It knocked it over. And for anybody that keeps asking, why do I keep rubbing my nose and stuff? My Tourette's is really acting up, so I'm ticking, and doing this is one of the ticks. So, there we go. I'm not making too many verbal ticks, though, so that's kind of nice, even though face and my movements. And that's another reason I keep moving, is because I get the ticks if I keep moving. So there we go. I can't. I'm dieting, says Taco Bell. It's supposed to be 110 there today. Jeez. So, okay. Is Goose... Hey, Anola, good to see you. Did Goose take off, or is she just... Yeah. Oh, wait, Granny Noodles. Hey, Gradebo, when I bought seeds yesterday, I picked up a few packs for you. Sweet. Send them my way. I can tell you what, so many seeds that I started, because it's been so cool and so wet. Just things that normally start no problem. Like my monster seeds and stuff, nothing is starting. You know, the carrots, lettuce, not that I'm overly good at those, but it's shocking how few things are starting. So, all right, let me find the photos, and then, but I'm having a night here. I'm making a mess. Okay. Gosh, we've been live for almost 2 hours. Okay, let me go to this. So when she was walking out of her the other day where she had the live stream going, when she was walking by, and granted, I think when you look at her go by, hold on. Let me see if I can find where she was walking down from her apartment, right? Everybody saw this, where she filmed herself going in to get something. Like I said, I've been really slacking, but she was walking down. But if you look at her stomach, how absolutely massive she is. Her stomach, she used to kind of sit like this, where you remember she could put her phone stand on her stomach, but and her hands. But if you look at her now, it sticks out significantly more than it did. Like nothing is fitting her. Her from sideways now, mind you, she's only this tall. And that's something else I was chatting with Goose about the other day, is remember how Salad, when they were in the mall, and she kept making excuses about wanting to sit down and look at how beautiful things were, and Salad looked under the table and her feet were swinging, right? They wouldn't touch the floor. Yes, she's short, but somebody that's 5'1", if they just sit in your standard booth, this fucking your feet should touch the floor, right? Granted, she's not gonna have, like a ton of, her knee up like this because it hits the floor. But sitting in one of those booths, her feet should hit the floor. The reason her feet were swinging like this, and I did not get a screenshot of that, is because if you look at Chantal's backside, she probably has 1.5 feet of, almost shelf butt happen back here, right? So if you get an extra 1.5 feet back here, and when you go and sit on it, it's like when she sits in the car, she's nearly level with Salad, even though she's just a foot shorter than him, because when you've got 1.5 feet of trunk and you sit on it, so it's like sitting in a booster chair. So she's basically sitting in a booster chair, which is going to make her feet swing. They're not going to touch the floor anymore. If she could actually get her butt to that bench seat, like there in the mall or anywhere, her feet touch the floor. But you add that 1.5 feet, which is double height of a booster seat, yeah, her feet are going to kick. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me and you understand what I'm saying. Put a 2 if you think, no, I've got the wrong end of the stick. I don't think I got a photo when she was, okay, I don't have a photo when she was sitting at the table in the mall, but I did get this one, though, when she was sitting on those low benches and her feet were barely touching the ground, right? So her feet were barely touching the ground on this one. But yeah, the last time before when he showed on the table. So she got her feet on the ground on that. But that wasn't a normal bench seat like you sit and eat at. That was a much lower bench in the mall. Hopefully people understand what I'm talking about. But she's got quite the junk in the trunk happening at this point. I think it was this. Was it this when they stopped to eat where she could barely fit? She was barely fitting. Like her stomach was up on that table. And then Salad flashed under the table and her feet hanging like this. She probably had about this much room before her feet. Just a normal bench seat. So, yeah. So there's her stomach. Her stomach is up on that table. And we've seen it in the car when she sits next to Salad. He is like, what, 5'11"? And her head is not only level with him, but she sits much closer because of all the fat on the backside and stuff is she sits much higher and she sits much closer. So that's why I think she's starting to have trouble touching the pedals and stuff, because you got all backside holding her up. She can't get too close because her stomach is now sticking out so much further. So, all right, I don't know where I'm going with this. Hold on. And this, her seersucker top, look how absolutely skin tight the arm on that thing is getting now. Like, and the majority, seersucker will shrink, but the majority of clothes Chantal buys are polyester. It's Temu junk, right? They don't shrink. Polyester doesn't shrink. So she's not shrinking these clothes. She is physically outgrowing them. And like, is her eyesight getting so bad because she's wearing things backwards? Like, she had her striped one on backwards the other day. She had the seersucker on backwards. So is her eyesight so bad, or does she have stains on stuff? So she's flipping on backwards because she doesn't have anything new to wear. Like this thing, when she had this thing on the other day, this top right here, I saw this on the farms. She had it on backwards. You can see how the arm rate pinched so tight. It's because this is the front, so she has it on backward, and it's not meant, but I mean, you know, that's some ample girth, and with the amount of girth that she has, she already didn't have good reach. But if you look at her now when she's moving her arms, she doesn't have extraordinarily short arms for her height. It's just proportionally. So for somebody my height, with my arm length, if my girth in my stomach was the same size as Chantal, it would be out here, okay? That is how large she is. My chest would be out to here, and my gut would be out here. Like, I could not physically put my arms around it. You see what I'm saying? And so that just tells you how huge, absolutely massive she is. I think that people just, I think that's why people look, as they see her head on, and you're like, oh, okay, and then she turns sideways, and I think it's shocking. It's shocking to see somebody, well, first of all, she's very short, but to see somebody that large, it's shocking. But yeah, this one that she's wearing, I saw this on the farm. So it's it on backwards. That's actually the front. Sorry, I've got the lights on above, but she's got it on backwards, and I don't know if it's because she couldn't see or what. And here's another one with this, when she walks away, and you know, that she doesn't have the slim filters on this side, but it's just, she's big, and she keeps trying to insist. Notice, remember before, oh, I haven't put on weight, I'm losing weight. Notice she's not really leaning into that narrative again, you know, and everything's cheaper in Kuwait, and it's all disingenuous bullshit, my opinion. Oh, let's see, Colleen with the K. Hey, great Gradebo, glad oh, good, thank you for being here. Yeah, and the reason I put the goals up, I was showing how easy it is. Like, it's super easy for her to do. And if I ever hit the $100 goal, because that's what it takes, money, the kiddies will get toys or something, because everything I spend money on, it is the kiddies. And we're, okay, hold on. Let's see. Okay. And then the other day when she was out and about, she had flipped the camera around and it was on, but her skin, like her smoothing filters, if you see people, I saw this on the farm, where you see people that have their 100K plaque out in the background, you can see it, you know, it's the play button part is a nice silver, you can see writing. Chantal, she has it so filtered that it just looks like this whitey silver square with this slightly more silver square in the middle, because the filters are so heavy. And she's got the big eye filter, and when you watch her chew, you can see the filter flexing like this because it's trying to slim that face. But yeah, but she flipped and this is not edited. This isn't me doing, I've seen some of the other people apply reverse filters. No, this was exactly how I screenshotted it off of the archive. But yeah, you can see her skin is not in the best shape. And if you look over here, she's starting to get a lot of scars or red spots along there. Her hijabs are sweaty. I don't think they get clean much. I think they're cheap polyester. They're very pilled up. If you look at this thing too, so she's got it tucked in underneath, you know, the front of her face. But this back here is all... Yeah, you can see that's actually her neck and chin right there. She's basically, you know, if she had something here, she's got it sitting right here. And all that is all fat under there that she's, and I think she's actually starting to drink her own Kool-Aid a little bit. I think she's kind of, and as far as her hair's grown back, lush stuff, when she was, remember she was all sweaty. This was from May 10th, and she was sweaty. She had that green and orange dress on backwards, and she was just covered with sweat, and she took her hijab and was like scratching her head because she was soaking wet. And you can see this. I think I might have saw this on the farms too, but you can see it crimps back. She does not have a luscious head of hair. There's no hair there. You see, when she was rubbing her head, you know, she could have wrung that thing out, but there's no hair. So she's lying with that. I think she is pretty much cube bald on top. Once again, this is not me going after her looks. This is me pointing out that her face card isn't what she thinks it is. She goes after everybody's looks. She's trying to tell everybody how gorgeous she is, how smart she is, how jealous everybody is. And I'm just pointing out that she is so heavily filtered and so disingenuous that I don't think she's even, you know, I think she knows, but in this one, she's a full-blown diabetic with blood sugars that are averaging 10 millimoles per liter, which is like, what, 250 deciliters per liter, which is like more than double what your blood sugar should be. Your kidneys are screaming. But she was eating that piece of cake, probably a piece of cake she got for free, and this is her own video. You can see, hold on, right here, all that right there. There's where she has the hijab, but that right there is all, it's all neck fat. And you know, and she wears the hijab here, and it's just, her body is running out of places to put the weight. You know, she is not 370 pounds. I think she's well over 400. She might be getting more like the not quite 450, but I think she's starting to get up there. Oh, thanks, Dixie Normus. The kitties, thank you, too. Yeah, the chocolate cake folly. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, like this one right here. This was when she was 368 pounds. This was years ago. This is in 2018, right? So she has put on probably not quite 100 pounds. So small, but you know, she used to be able to at least reach around. She can no longer take her hands around her belly. Let's see what else I got. So much more ceiling, so much more excuses. A lot of the clothes are going away. We don't see them anymore. That gaming chair, which Salad grabbed, that thing's got to be absolutely disgusting. And like I said, I don't want to start repeating myself. I'm just, and here's another one where, you know, she's flipping the camera around. The hijabs are old, and there we go. Let's see. I've got this a little bit too bright, but you can see there where her chin is, and that right there is all under neck. It's weight. And I think that's part of the problem with Chantal too, is gravity's not just a good idea, it's the law. And she had an extremely large, she calls it a fupa. It's the pubis mons that had so much fat in there. And then she's put on more weight. And as she gets older, you know, your collagen starts breaking down. So the pubis mon that had already kind of made a ball is sagging lower and lower. Her apron is sagging lower, and it's putting, and that all sits between her legs. So that one picture she was trying to show everybody, I can put my legs together and sit in the gaming chair. Remember how she looked like that? Well, it's, if you could get a profile of her, it's because what she had done is she had hoisted everything up like this. She put her legs together, but she was probably almost sitting like this. That's why her head was so tiny. That is so much weight and girth right there that if, you know, having it sitting up on here, it pushes up on your diaphragm. You cannot physically move, and I don't even know that she could physically get it up like that without leaning back like that. That's what she does when she shows herself in the movie theater. Is you look at her, her head's back like this. She's wedged her butt in there, and she has enough of a butt shelf. She can set that on the edge of but she's kind of like this. I think if you could like see a side profile of her in the movie theater chair, I think you could probably take your arm and slide it up in there, because she's almost reclined like this, and she's big enough she can put her knees and her thighs lean against the chair in front of her and just kind of sink back into that chair, and it leans back. But there's probably a big gap between, you know, her butt. She's not sitting with her nether regions, you know, put into the chair the way somebody should sit. Is this commentary on her looks? No, this is a commentary on her disingenuous content that she monetizes as a type 2 diabetic that is lying to people about her eating, her health, and it's just very dangerous. It's very dangerous, and she's so stubborn and stuck in, wants to sell this lie. I don't know where I'm going with this. Here's another one where, you know, you can see her really, this is right off of her video, but you can see her skin. You know, she's got a lot of chin hairs. She's got a lot of red blotches and peeling and stuff. I imagine her hijabs. You know, you can't have that many folds and layers, because you start getting anaerobic respiration, because skin needs to be scrubbed off. Otherwise the skin starts to break down, and you get the sweat, then you get the bacteria, and you get the fungus, and like I said, the sweat, and it's not good. I'm sure she probably has raw spots in the folds, you know, that very quickly could become a serious problem. She's just fortunate. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm beating a dead horse at this point. Hey, BVD, good to see you. Hello from the Netherlands. Good morning. I don't know how to say good morning in Dutch. I can say Norwegian. Jælskedij, jælkedij. Is it guten Tag, guten Morgen? I can't remember. Sorry. Hey, we can't tag people on here anymore. You should be able to tag people. You can't tag people, Ennis? Unless that's some kind of something that I need to now set up. Guten Morgen. There we go. You should be able to tag people. Is everybody, put a 1 in the chat if you can't tag people. I'm wondering, when you go to do lives, they keep changing things. So, because it used to be, now I have to specifically, you know, check the aspect ratio, and there's so many things. Put a 1 if you can't tag people. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Orange just says that to stay in her apartment. Says she got another boil. Yeah, exactly. It's just an excuse. Tag or tip. No, I think a tag, like you can't at people. So what I'll do is the next time I start a live, first of all, I know periodically it looks like I'm kind of jerking like this and slowing down. I think it's my older iPad I'm using, and it chokes periodically. So once I have the money to get a new iPad, I will try streaming off of that, because I've got extremely high speed internet, so it can't be that. But perhaps, oh, you can tag people, Chow? Tag and chat? Let me see if I can tag somebody. At Ennis. Can you hear now? Did that tag you, Ennis, or no? Did that tag you on your end? Can you tell? No, just, well, I'm not going to type out. So yeah, let's see, adjust just don't make me tag you. Well, I'll check the settings to make sure I have it set up so people can tag people. Bit of a spin before it stops. Oh, look. Okay. Okay, let's see. Do I have any other photos? Is there another video we need to watch? I have, you know, she keeps eating the fast food. And this brings me back. I don't know how to do polls on this. I do polls, community. I don't have any way to do polls. Live chat on. Let's see. Hey, it says my reached. And let's see, what do we have? I'm not sure how much it comes to, but I think it's probably close to, it looks, I'm going to do the math and guess that it probably came to about $80. And I think I have like $12 sitting in my account. So after I get another like $10, $15, and no, you don't have to give, I should be able to get the money from YouTube, which will be 2 times in 1 year. I get $100 from YouTube, and the kitties will get a goodie or something. Like, that's, there goes Morgoth right there. I think she just flipped me off. So that's the goal with the, so thank you, Always Centered. I appreciate it. Woohoo! All right, let me see if I can,
Power off.
Oh, sorry, the speaker just went off. So thank you, everybody, for the goal. My point was, when I did that, I just wanted to say they've made it so easy, and in fact, in your face for setting up goals. It's easier to set up goals than it is to set up the live stream, at least for me. So that's what I was trying to, let's see. You guys don't need to see any more screenshots of Foodles. We know she's a slimming filter. We know that she's probably over 400 pounds right now. We know her blood sugar is out of control. We know that her diet is absolutely like this. The other day, this was April 25th, so about a month ago, when she was cooking in her kitchen, her stomach is so big. Like I said, if my stomach was proportional to her, this would be about as close as I could get to my stove. So if I wanted to do stuff, I would have to push it in like this. You know, I couldn't reach the back. Like that's, you see, she goes side to get to the back. Because like I said, she can't touch her arms. Here we go. Let's say I'll be kind to pretend, but yeah, do the math. She can bend and get this, can't touch the back ones. This is how far back from my stove I would have to stand if my stomach was as large as Chantal. And from a month ago, she had this green one on, and I don't know if I've seen her wear this green stretchy dress. You guys will have to let me know. But the back side of it, she had big chunks of, you know, dust bunnies, kitty hair on it. And you could just see, like, she's got so many folds that it's tight, and the arms are just stretched tight. But do we see that green dress anymore, or has she stopped wearing that? I can't remember. I don't remember seeing it for a while. That might have been once, and maybe not. I know the seersucker comes out, the 70s striped one does. She's got that kind of pregnancy top one. She likes wearing, and I do believe if people ask her about her stomach, she tells people that she's pregnant. That's what I think. Picked it off the floor. Yeah, and like I said, she's having a heart. Gunther does the cooking. Okay, so I've got that. So, but yeah, she wears things backwards. You know, she's getting more and more filthy when she goes out. I'm sure she smells. She can't adequately wash herself. That bathtub is tiny, and that's not a wet bathroom. So it must be extremely hard to clean yourself. Let's see. Her blood sugar is probably, yeah. I think I got this one off of the farms, but right here, April 3rd, 20, so this is 7 years ago. She was in the 350 range here. And you can see the size of her. She's markedly smaller. This one right here, this is over 5.5 years ago. She was 3D6 in this one. Like I said, the farms is great for cataloging these things. So her weight gain, I think it's just too dark. It's just overexposed, but everybody knows this one. Let's see. It's incredibly, she's just getting so much bigger. I've noticed that there's been 2, 3, maybe 4 times where suddenly she has a little chin slip. Like we saw that one time in her car, probably, oh gosh, when was it? Well, in March, she had a couple chin slips, but at the beginning of May, there was like one time when she was in the car, she didn't have not one, but she had 2 chin slips. Like, she's starting to plan these little things to get people talking because she truly has nothing. She said herself she has no hobbies, she has nothing she's interested in. And, you know, if you don't use your brain and you don't, you know, flex your intellect, it gets harder and harder. This feigned ignorance she does is cutesy wootsy. So yeah, and she's just any addict, anybody that knows an addict, that she's just getting further and further into her food addiction, where you get more and more self-centered and you get less and less interested in anything except for your drug of choice. And her drug of choice is food, fast food. But if she can't get fast food, copious amounts, and if you look at the food she eats at home, she's still eating junk food. She's still eating highly processed, calorically dense junk food at home. Might not be McDonald's or Hardee's, but it's vacuum packed, microwave, pre-prepared, salt, preservative, sugared, processed food. You know, with tons of sauce. You know, if you eat a salad, but you put 3 cups of salad dressing on it, it just so many calories. And in her mind, you know, she'll pull out one of those little bag of chips, which is a serving. She'll eat 3 or 4 of those in her mind. Like, she's completely lost all sense of proportion on what, you know, a serving size looks like. And she's not willing to be uncomfortable. She's not willing to change anything. She's not willing to work hard. She doesn't know how to work hard. So nothing changes, and that's kind of where we are with Chantal. Trying to think of anything else that we need to do or watch. Yeah, she's definitely heavier than she was in Thailand, all centered. Yeah, and I think she's getting to the point where, like, her when she was in that the pet store, and they were looking for stuff for the cat before she dumped it back in the park. It's like, just from basic slow walking, gasping for air. This is not good. She is one small ankle roll or something away from bedbound. And the decompensation that happens, like if you are, you know, in bed for any amount of time, or as much as she seals, she's more comfortable laying. we know other creators that kind of went this way, where they lay down more and more until all of a sudden they couldn't get back up. When you see her getting in vehicles, she grabs that steering wheel and she can't click the seatbelt, she can't turn her head. She is just one minor accident away from bedbound, you know. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. And there's so many tops that she just cannot wear anymore. She's outgrown. This one right here. This one right here was from about 7 months ago. You know? And you can even see, so you can see her shadow. She's much bigger, but her chest and her stomach has gotten markedly bigger since then. Like, she is packing on the pound. A woman her height, at her set, you know, she's sedentary, should probably eat maybe 1,500 calories a day, you know, but she's so big, I bet you she could probably eat and maintain it 3,000 calories a day. So for her to lose weight, she could still eat double what she should normally be eating, and she would still keep losing weight. Also, salad is looking terrible. The life is being sucked out of him. But all right, is there anything else we want to watch, or we just sign off? Because at this point, I'm just babbling. Yeah, she's got to hurt. I don't have any sympathy for her, Daxo, at this point. I have none. She's at a point where anybody that's giving her money, that's patting her on the ass, they are enabling her. Her family is loving her to death. You know, she is on a brick wall trajectory, and I can tell you what, you know, either there are, here's where an addiction will take you. Jails, institutions, death. And if you don't stop, you've got degradation and death. You know what I mean? It's just, she has no self-respect. She has no self-awareness. It's all about her. And it's all self-imposed. And at this point, it's lies, it's manipulation. She accepts no accountability. She does not have an eating disorder, in my opinion. It's just food addiction. She refuses to be uncomfortable. Well, I'm trying. Do or do not. There is no try. Well, I thought about this. I'm writing down goals and plans. I say this every single stream. A thought followed by an action means nothing happens. This is just your typical addict rhetoric, right? It's ever been around an addict knows exactly what this is. Nothing changes is nothing changes. And if you are not willing to get uncomfortable, nothing's going to change. Promises nothing, because she is a liar. Fundamentally, at her core, she's a self-centered liar. Even if she wasn't an addict, Chantal has proven that she's just overall a very selfish, uninterested, lazy person. You know, even if she wasn't a food addict, she's not an overly pleasant person. She's only friendly when it's going to get her something. And then you add food addiction on top of that, and it's just a shitstorm, right? You've already taken a fundamentally not real nice, not real kind, not real empathetic person, and now you've added an addiction on top of it. That's a recipe for disaster. That just makes such a highly unlikable human being. And it's not like she has a bunch of friends that were rooting for her, but they've all had to walk away because, you know, you're killing yourself and I'm not going to co-sign this. No, Chantal always had a very small group of friends or people that could really tolerate anyway. And then you add the food addiction on top of that, nobody can stand her. You know, she's just, until she, and I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist, can't die, but she has some real B cluster personality traits. And until she gets out of that and starts actively practicing giving a fuck about other people, she's just going to remain, she's just a very, and she's been this way her entire life, so I can't see anything changing. Again, am I at this point? I'm just sitting here repeating myself. I'm, almost bashing her at this point. But once again, these are things she could change. She chooses not. Medical misinformation. I guarantee her kidneys are screaming. I also think that the damage to her kidneys are already done, even if she went cold turkey and changed it all tomorrow. But I don't. It takes a little while to actually manifest. I think it's going to be something else that gets her, unless she makes drastic changes right now. And even with drastic changes, I still think that the kidney stuff, it's on the horizon. But just try to be a decent human. And everybody says, oh, she should be deplatformed. Her channel should be yeeted. No, I don't think her channel should be yeeted. I think if they didn't, she wasn't able to monetize it, though, and make money off these terrible behaviors, maybe something would change. Maybe. I don't know. I don't ever want to see somebody censored. I don't want to see somebody not, be able to say what they want, but it doesn't mean she needs to be paid for it. All right. So real quick, guys, is there anything else that we need? So sorry for the leggy video. Sorry for the absolute train wreck. Welcome to a bad baking, questionable cooking. I didn't get any bad baking, questionable cooking, but I did get the sourdough fed, so this will stay a bad baking because there was a little food. And this summer I do have plans to do more bad baking, questionable cooking, where I will actually bake or cook while rambling about, the topics we always talk about. I haven't seen all that many things new from Chantal. It's just the same old regurgitated BS. Thank you to everybody who gave super chats and helped. Look, the goal was met. And it's all for my overlords. I get nothing. I'm lucky they let me sleep in the house. Is there any video or short or something you guys want to go over? I do have a bunch of Chantal notes, but there's really no point going over it at this point. I'll start taking better detailed, but like I said, it's just her saying the same things. It's kind of like I said at the beginning of the stream, it's just a different flavor of awful, but it's all just still the same stuff. Nothing unique. Let's see. Yeah, and I have it here on her in real life 5 where she, so she, she's getting mad because people that are giving her super chat expect her to follow through. And she's like, I'll live my life how I want. I don't owe you anything. Well, if you're asking people for money and to donate for you to do things, they do have a right to weigh in. You don't get mad about it. But they're the morons that keep giving. You can't tell me what to do. You don't own me. I mean, it's just such when her and Salad got in the fight. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my dad. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you 12? So she sets the goal, she makes the money, and then gets mad when people ask about said goal. This was back on May 8th. She had already had 2 $100 goals met, and I want to say a $50 goal, and had yet to do anything. So if you do the math, she is making some pretty good money. She's subsidizing all the views she's not getting, but she's not doing any of the stuff, and the bar set so low, these dummies keep giving. It's juice. And then she'll say, oh, I'm not mad at you guys. And what she means by that are the people, the ass kissing, ass pat types like Teardrop and Tracy and those guys. A water seeks its own level, but it's anybody that donates money that has an opinion on the fact they've donated money to go do this thing, and that thing never happens, Let's see. No, that needs to be less. And then she says something like, let's see where I put my eggs in the fridge. I'm just looking at some of the notes. She said, oh no, I just need less stupid people in the world. Well, that would include you, Cupcake. Yeah, there's just nothing. Oh, and then back in April where she's talking about why she can't do anything. Remember, she came on and all of a sudden had vertigo. She had sunglasses on. And then she was saying, oh, when I bend over to pick up things, I'm so dizzy. And then she was talking about, oh, the first time I had vertigo was 2005. with Pete's. And then she said she's had it 3 to 5 times since then. So in 2005, she had her first round of vertigo when she was with Pete's. It's now 2025, so it's been 20 years, and she claims she's 4 times since then, but we have not seen her have it since she started streaming. That was, 2016? So that was 11 years. She supposedly had it 3 or 4 more times, but we've heard nothing about it. And all of a sudden, so once again, it's just Chantal. She comes up with something she sees as plausible or something she's had in the past. She Googles it, and then she spits out all these symptoms she's having, but yet the symptoms she's describing literally are in the order and sound the way you would read them off of AI overview. And it's just why do people keep giving her money? I don't understand. All right, let's go. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I don't know where I'm going with this at this point. Hold on. Yeah, everybody's going to bed. It's late. So, Dax, thank you for being here. Ariana, sorry I didn't say hi. Yeah, Teardrop doesn't realize Chantal would drop her in a second. Oh, yeah. Teardrop is as pathetic as Chantal. Maybe even so, And that Tracy, too. Just, as I said before, water seeks its own level, But Ariana, thank you for being here. BVD, Dashing D, Dax, Ennis, it was good to see you. Have a good day. Guten Morgen. Well, that's Dutch, but always centered. Thank you for being here. EP, Jocelyn's mom, thanks for being here. Sorry, here you are. Thanks for being here. Granny Noodles. Justice, thanks. I just kind of been on a little bit of a tangent. I haven't gone live much, and the kitty thing, just hypocrisy, it shoved me, and she got money for it, so she did it because she's defiant, then realized it could get her in trouble, and so the narrative she painted about this pork to die without her, all of a sudden, but it needs to go back to its mom. And then it sat there and nursed 20 minutes, and Salad's the one that went and dropped it off. Chantal didn't go with him because he's filming vertically, because she does not film vertically. It's just, yeah. So I said goodbye to Dashing D. The kitty thing, yeah, and that's what made I didn't go live because of that. I was just gonna, sorry, my stove keeps turning on. How many times can I say sorry? It's like 4,392, but I can't with that thing. I was already planning on going live, so I think we're kind of caught up. I don't need to read my notes unless something new comes up. And everybody says, she's going to die any day. I don't think she's going to die any day, but I think the damage is done. I think she is actively gaining weight. I think she is actively losing mobility. I think her income is going down. So eventually, she's not going to be able to e-bag enough to make up for her low views. How many people are going to buy a computer-generated absolute crap merch that's way overpriced? She's got like 4 different stores. It just, it's going to get to the point where it's going to get harder and harder for her to make money. And I used to say she's kind of like Wings of Redemption. She's going to end up like that, or Dark Side Phil, where she's not going to be able, and currently she's living somewhere where she can still afford to live, but she's got that $1,700 a month payment. And I'm just like, is that just her bankruptcy? Or does that $1,700 payment she's paying go towards the bankruptcy and paying her back? Put a 1 if you think it's just her bankruptcy. Put a 2 if you think that $1,700 a month goes to pay off her bankruptcy and her back tax. I'm kind of on the fence, but I'm kind of leaning towards 2, because we don't hear her complaining about the back taxes and stuff either. So I think $1,700 might be one bulk payment for the bankruptcy and the back taxes, I think, because we know they can take up to like 25%. And I did some math. So for her to be paying, now if it was straight bankruptcy, for her to be paying $1,700 a month, that would mean her monthly net income would need to be about $4,800 a month, which still left her like $2,520 a month to herself, which isn't bad, but that's not awesome. I did that last video. So yeah, hey Effie Bug, I do think that she must be paying something towards, or maybe if it's a separate amount. But you know, once you've entered into these things, they tend to be legal agreements. You can't get out of it, and so she could potentially go back and get it renegotiated, because you know, if she starts making, that means her payments, she could go in and negotiate less and less. So it'll be interesting to see, you know. But I think after she pays that payment and stuff, and what she's paying to live, and I know she's paying like $900 a month for that T-Mobile, and she's paying like $1,200-$1,300 US for that apartment. And her food bill is absolutely insane. I don't think she has a ton left. And that's why she keeps grifting harder and harder. Foodie has been able to have merch forever. She never bothered because she's lazy, but now she's got like 4 stores. And the cameos and the setting goals. I really think the inspiration is setting in, that she just is not making enough to make ends meet. And she's already got this legally binding agreement for this $1,700 a month. So that's just where I'm at. So, all right. Well, thanks for being Effie. And all right. So everybody, hopefully, you know, and I'm just rambling, but hopefully everybody had a good time just BSing in chat like we do. You know, I'm just in the background. I want everybody on. Thanks for being here, oranges, poranges. I think I said good night to pretty much everybody else, and Ariana and Granny and Ennis and everything. So I'm going to go, because we have been here for an hour and a half. Made grossed $82.17. I want to say there's like $13 sitting there. So I think I'm probably only like $10 away from so sooner rather than later, or maybe the next live, I'll set like one $10 super chat or 10 $1 super chats. And then the kitties will get a surprise. I need to decide what I'm going to get them. I'm trying to, you know, I'm not sure. They are very spoiled, but they're so fun. So, all right, guys. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for listening to me win out everything. Yeah, I probably should have reviewed notes. But, yeah, just that whole kitten thing just kind of knocked me for a loop. And I go to bed. Yeah, I'm glad to see you, Dax. And you know what I can do next time is, rather than me sitting here ranting or going off on a tangent, maybe we could just put on a video and I will stop interrupting it, and everybody can just have fun in the chat, because it's really fun, you know, just chatting in the chat. I remember I miss the good old days, and I'm sorry that the video kind of does that jerky thing periodically. It's the old iPad. I really need to get filming set up, but you know, hope springs eternal, but someday I'll get my shit together. So, my God, I look old tonight. So, thank you, everybody. Don't forget to go watch. I love jerky. Don't forget my shorts. I think I'm like on 970 shorts in a row now. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not even sure. Like, I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to stop. But, you know, I kind of want to make it this year. So, this all started out is I wanted to prove to fools, and I think even somebody brought up ALR, that you can in fact every day for 30 days in a row. It's not that, you know. Oh, thanks, Ariana. Okay, so that might, okay, that has me up to, it says 92, and now I don't know if that's what I make or if that's the gross amount, and YouTube is gonna take 30%. I will let you guys know or on the community post or something. I am getting so close, I'm telling you, because I'm not quite sure. Like I said, I'm not really monetized. I don't have memberships. I don't. If you see commercial, it has nothing to do with me. So, woohoo! Thanks, Ariana. I will figure it out. I think I. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how to read the method. I don't really even know how to use Studio, but I'll Google it and see if I can't figure out how it works. So, okay, I'm gonna let it. Ariana, thank you. Oh, you guys can't hear it, but you know that pitter patter for the kitty NASCAR? Yeah, kitty NASCAR is firing up. I think they're getting ready to go give them a little bedtime snack. So, kitty NASCAR is happening. They know they're getting treats and, well, not treats, but they're getting food and they're going to get a toy. So, all right, I'm going to stop babbling. Everybody have an awesome night. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you, Dashing D. Yeah, that pushed me pretty darn close. So, okay. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Next time I go live, I'm going to tell you I'm going to be more organized and we can spend more time with everybody, you know, having a good time. And I will try to be a little more prepared and maybe use my good iPad so you don't get the jerky, the jerkiness. So I'll do that next time, okay? Bye, guys. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Spokojnej noche. Bye, everybody, and thank you for being here, and thank you for indulging me. I do love the Grevettes, and I like this community, and I like that I am not the only person that has this incredibly ridiculous, this is like The Bold and the Beautiful, or All My Children, General Hospital. You couldn't just strike up a conversation with anybody. They would look at you like you're crazy. But at least it was like mainstream, or like you could talk about it with anybody. This is my entertainment, and it's so incredibly niche that there are very few people that I can discuss what is going on with them. So I truly appreciate everybody here, because it's nice having somebody to discuss this with, because if you bring Girl World Up and Foodles to anybody else, they look at you like you have lost your mind. And I can't blame them. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye. Thank you for the super chats.